You've seen the flashy, often ineffective tricks of dark psychology on YouTube. Now, it's time for the genuine 30 dark psychology tricks that are backed by science and actually deliver results. These tricks are highly manipulative. The strategies described are designed to influence others in subtle and potentially deceptive ways. While they can be effective, they should be used with extreme caution. Misusing these techniques can damage relationships, undermine trust, and lead to ethical concerns. Trick number 1, name drop. Picture yourself in a crowded room with lots of people talking and moving around. If you want to get your friend's attention, instead of waving your arms or shouting, just use their name. For example, say, "Hey Sarah, over here." When people hear their own name, they instantly pay attention. Using someone's name makes it easier to connect with them and shows that you are speaking directly to them. It also makes the interaction more personal and effective. By calling out their name, you help them notice you in the crowd, making your communication smoother and more direct. Trick number 2, reflective listening. When talking to someone, if you want them to feel understood, use reflective listening. This means repeating back what they've said, but in your own words. For example, if someone says they are stressed about a new project, you might say, "So, you're feeling overwhelmed because of the new project, right?" This helps show that you understand their feelings and are really listening. Reflective listening is a great way to build trust and make others feel heard. It helps in conversations by confirming their feelings and showing empathy, making discussions more effective. Trick number 3, positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement means recognizing and praising someone immediately after they do something good. For instance, if a coworker named Alex helps with a report, you should say, "Thanks for jumping in on that report, Alex. It really made a difference." This kind of immediate praise encourages Alex to keep doing good work in the future. Positive reinforcement is a powerful tool for motivating people and creating a supportive environment. It shows appreciation and boosts morale, making people more likely to repeat their helpful actions. Trick number 4, mirroring. Mirroring is when you subtly copy the other person's body language during a conversation. If they lean forward, you lean forward too. If they cross their arms, you might do the same. This creates a sense of connection and makes the conversation more comfortable. Mirroring helps build rapport and makes the interaction smoother because it shows that you are in sync with the other person. It's a simple way to improve communication and make the other person feel more at ease. Trick number 5, the power of pauses. In conversations, especially during negotiations, using pauses can be very effective. After you make a point or present an offer, stop talking and let the silence hang for a moment. This pause can make the other person think more deeply about what you've said, and sometimes even lead them to offer more information or concessions. The power of pauses lies in their ability to make people feel the need to respond, which can work in your favor. It's a useful technique for gaining an advantage and encouraging more thoughtful responses. Trick number 6, anchoring. Anchoring is a technique where you start with a high number or extreme position in a negotiation to set a reference point. For example, if you are negotiating a salary and start by asking for a high amount, it sets the stage for the discussion. The other party's counteroffer might be closer to what you actually want. Anchoring works because people often base their decisions on the initial number or position presented. It's a useful strategy for making your actual request seem more reasonable compared to the starting point. Trick number 7, the door in the face. The door in the face technique involves starting with a big request that you expect to be turned down and then following up with a smaller, more reasonable request. For example, if you ask someone to donate $100 and they refuse, you then ask for $10 instead. This method works because after rejecting the larger request, people are more likely to agree to the smaller one. It leverages the feeling of obligation to agree to the second request after turning down the first one. This technique is effective in various situations, such as fundraising or making requests. Trick number 8, foot in the door. The foot in the door technique involves starting with a small request that is easy to agree to, and then following up with a larger request. For example, you might first ask someone to help you carry a book, and once they agree, you can then ask them to help with a larger box. This approach works because once people agree to a small request, they are more likely to agree to a larger one later. It relies on the principle of commitment, where agreeing to a small request makes them feel more inclined to say yes to bigger requests. Trick number 9, Social proof. Social proof is a concept where people look at what others are doing to decide what to do themselves. When trying to persuade someone, mention that others support your idea. For example, you could say, "Many people in our department think starting the meeting earlier would be helpful." This technique works because people often follow the crowd and feel more comfortable with a decision if they know others agree with it. Social proof helps in convincing others by showing that your idea has widespread support. Trick number 10, the Benjamin Franklin effect. The Benjamin Franklin effect is based on the idea that asking someone for a small favor can make them more likely to help you again in the future. If you ask someone to borrow a book and they agree, they might be more willing to help you with future requests. This effect works because doing a favor makes people feel good about themselves and more willing to do more for you. It's a way to build positive relationships and encourage ongoing help by leveraging the goodwill created from small acts of kindness. Trick number 11. The scarcity principle. The scarcity principle involves highlighting the limited availability of something to increase its perceived value. For example, if you're selling tickets to an event, you might say, "These tickets are selling out fast. You should grab yours while they last." This statement creates a sense of urgency and makes people feel they need to act quickly to avoid missing out. By emphasizing that something is in limited supply, you make it seem more valuable and desirable. This trick is effective in marketing and sales because it taps into the fear of missing out, encouraging people to make decisions faster and often with less deliberation. Trick number 12, emotional labeling. Emotional labeling is a technique used to identify and acknowledge the emotions of others, especially during a heated discussion. For instance, if someone appears upset, you might say, "You seem really frustrated right now." By naming their emotion, you show that you are paying attention and that you understand how they feel. This can help calm the situation because it demonstrates empathy and can diffuse tension. Emotional labeling helps in making people feel validated and heard, which often leads to more constructive conversations and resolutions. Trick number 13, the reciprocity norm. The reciprocity norm is based on the idea that when you give something small, like a compliment or a small gift, people feel a sense of obligation to return the favor. For example, if you give someone a piece of candy or a sincere compliment, they might be more inclined to help you out in return or do something nice for you. This social norm relies on the principle that people want to reciprocate kindness and maintain balance in their interactions. Using this trick can help build goodwill and strengthen relationships by encouraging mutual support and cooperation. Trick number 14, the Zeigarnik effect. The Zeigarnik effect is the tendency for people to remember unfinished tasks better than completed ones. To use this effect, you can leave something open-ended to keep others interested. For example, you might say, "I have a great idea for the project, but I'll tell you more about it tomorrow." This approach creates curiosity and keeps the other person thinking about what's to come. By not providing all the details at once, you maintain their attention and increase their anticipation for the follow-up information. Trick number 15, pacing and leading. Pacing and leading is a technique where you start by matching the other person's behavior or pace in a conversation, and then gradually guide them to your desired topic or tone. For example, if someone is speaking slowly and thoughtfully, you start by mirroring their pace and then slowly shift to a faster or different rhythm as you guide the conversation. This technique makes transitions feel more natural and helps in building rapport. By initially aligning with their behavior, you create a sense of connection and make it easier to lead the conversation in a direction you want. Trick number 17, the power of because. The power of because involves providing a reason when making a request to increase the likelihood of getting a positive response. For example, instead of just asking, "Can I go ahead of you in line?" you might say, "Can I go ahead of you in line because I'm really late for an appointment?" People are more likely to comply when they hear a reason, even if it's a simple one. The word because helps justify the request and makes it seem more reasonable, increasing the chances of getting what you want. Trick number 18, the Pygmalion effect. The Pygmalion effect refers to the idea that